Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for staying until this late. We'll have here now a short presentation about Portugal and how Portugal is also creating a strong international blue tech hub in Europe. So I'll start very quickly first. Why Portugal has been now quite attractive in the international landscape. So first, the economy for the last few years has been very strong, and here there's just a few KPIs that show how well positioned it has been in Europe in order to attract talent. In the second is the talent. So Portugal has the second highest rate of engineer graduates in the whole European Union. English is a very common language, so that as well has helped international companies to look for opportunities and establish tech hubs in Portugal. And finally, the quality of living. So it has been a very safe, a very expat-friendly destination, and with this, throughout the last few years, has been able to attract a very international talent, founders and startups to the ecosystem. Jumping to the blue economy, this is really a strong priority for Portugal, just like it is for Israel. So first, it has the third largest water area in the European Union with 1.7 million square kilometers. It has already committed, or actually is constructing as we speak, a blue economy hub in the city of Lisbon, where the European Union is investing 31 million to build this hub. Thirdly, a number of VCs are already creating funds specific for the blue economy. So now we have 3 major Portuguese VCs for early stage startups with 167 million euros committed for blue economy startups. And then finally, there's an expectation that the blue economy can contribute more than 10% to the Portuguese GDP. So that's more than $25 billion alone that the blue economy can create in the country. Based on this, Lisbon has been attracting a number of major conferences around the oceans and around the blue economy. Last year, we had the United Nations Ocean Conference, where we had more than 6,500 participants, many heads of state, many companies, with over 300 side events to discuss the blue economy and the future of the sustainability of the oceans and of the world through the ocean. And then finally, we are already going to have the 3rd edition in a row from the Economist on the World Ocean Summit and Expo that happens in March every year. So since 2021, actually since 2022, it has been in Portugal and has already been confirmed to be in Portugal again in 2024. So as you can see, there is a big investment and it's really a key priority for the country, the blue economy, and be able to attract the best talent and the best projects to also start doing their POCs in Portugal, given the vast water area that we have, both in terms of sea, ocean, rivers. So there's plenty of strong opportunities. So meanwhile, and as the hub is getting constructed, the question that I always get so then how can we help? And in this, I'll just step back a bit and explain a bit the Portuguese evolution in terms of the ecosystem. So it's a much younger ecosystem than Israel, but has been growing significantly over the last few years. So Startup Lisboa, which is the organization that I have, was founded in 2011, and since then has been the main incubator in the city to support startups. In 2016, Web Summit, for the ones that don't know, is the largest European startup fair that attracts 75,000 participants. It moved to Lisbon, and since then the ecosystem became international and started attracting a very large number of companies and startups. And then in 2022 coming out of the pandemic, we created Unicorn Factory Lisboa to help startups that already have a product and a team and funding in order to help them growing, taking advantage of the Portuguese strengths. So if you see on the chart on the right, you see that the Lisbon ecosystem has been really growing at double the pace of other ecosystems also in Europe. So Unicorn Factory Lisboa, what is it? This is really a program that was created by the city in partnership with the private sector to create the conditions to help startups to start to grow and become global with the support that we can do. So on the early stage, we have Startup Lisboa, as I mentioned. This exists for 11 years now, has supported more than 600 startups, and given the high demand we doubled the capacity this year, so now we are supporting 100 startups every year, which have raised historically more than 500 million, but we have seen a huge acceleration in the last 2 years. Second, the Scaling Up program, which is a program that is designed for startups that already have a proven POC, that already have a team in place. The goal is to start expanding, and we have created a program that creates the conditions for startups to grow. One, we give the skills that are needed in order to grow a business. Second, we link with very senior members, Portuguese and international members, to create a first mentorship board to help going through the opportunities and the challenges. Third, we connect with all the companies that are active in Portugal, plus public institutions. We help in international growth, and we create a community where the startups can interact with each other and can also take advantage of the synergies that they can create. Thirdly, we have created programs to help startups that want to expand into Europe and want to consider Portugal as a potential expansion base. So we have the launch in Lisbon, which is just a 2-day program to get to know the basics of Portugal in terms of culture, in terms of legislation, in terms of the ecosystem. And then for the ones that already are going to take that step, we have created the soft landing program, which is a very tailor-made program where we talk with each scale-up that joins the program, and we see what connections and how can we help in doing that expansion in the most smooth way and opening doors in Portugal and in Europe as fast as possible. And then finally, the fourth area is the Hub Criativo do Beato, which is it's going to be the main ecosystem hub in the city of Lisbon and the biggest in Portugal, where we are going to have 50,000 square meters of area towards entrepreneurship. Here we are already completing the first phase, where 25% has been already completed, and over the next 2 years we are going to complete the other 2 phases. The goal here is really to aggregate all the key players around the startup ecosystem, from the global tech companies like Google's, Amazon's, to corporate companies, to investors and to startups in a more generic term. So it won't be focused in any vertical in particular. It's going really to be a center where innovation happens. On the blue economy, we are creating the Blue Hub that I mentioned a bit earlier. So the concept is really to create a hub that matches and joins business with the potential to do experimentation and prototyping with the companies and with the startups and with the talent, and with the universities. So the mission is to support and boost the sustainability of the world through the blue economy. The hub will have spaces for startups, co-working space. We'll run regular programs, both local and international acceleration programs to support startups. We'll have a shared space that will allow to manufacture, to prototype different solutions. Plus, we're going to have a lab where the startups can share material and can share equipment in order to do their experimentation. They are going to be able to have their own space to have their own labs. We're going to have direct access to water through a number of partnerships that we are developing. So one of the key features is going to be any startup can act and can experiment in the water directly. Plus, we'll have a biobank in terms of to keep all different types of species. So the goal is really to support research and development in the blue economy through this hub. The hub is planned to open in 2026. Meanwhile, we are creating temporary areas and support areas to support startups that want to experiment and want to go to expand to Europe and test on the ocean waters, so we can support them through our network of partners that we have, and it's the largest network of partners that an incubator offers in Portugal. So I hope that we'll see some of you interested in exploring the opportunity to expand to Portugal. Look at Portugal as a great opportunity also to do proof of concepts and prototyping. And we are here as Unicorn Factory Lisboa to really create a world-class ecosystem where we can help founders in starting, scaling, and becoming global in the different verticals, and where the blue tech vertical plays a key role. So thank you very much. I hope it was helpful.